Okay, I think we are live. Hello, world! I'm Chris, aka Mr. FLIXTER, and welcome to another installment of Mr. FLIXTER Show. In this episode, well, it's a special episode that I like to call Back Session. That's right, I'm going to do a double feature. I'm going to review The Backrooms. And then, immediately after, I'm going to review Obsession. These are the two highest grossing horror movies of the year so far. So of course I'm going to talk about them. And I figured, why not just combine them both into one big episode? So, without further ado, let's start the show, shall we? Live from Niagara Falls, it's Mr. FLIXTER Show on Saturday night. Oh, let's try that again. All right, take two. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for clicking on my video.
He said he was on the verge of a discovery so terrific that he doubted his own sanity. There was a strange look in his eyes, some mystery.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
AKA Mr. FLIXTER. Here to talk motion pictures.
Mr. FLIXTER.
Here I am. I'm back. So, if you're familiar with my show, then you know the format. But if it's your first time watching, first of all, thank you for tuning in. Second of all, what I usually do is I usually cover some birthdays or some deaths. Depends on what's going on this week. And then after that, I do a little segment I like to call the Weekend Box Office Update. But in lieu of that, because it's a special episode, I'm just going to skip those two first segments and get right to the movies. So, without further ado, let's talk about The Backrooms. Sorry, The Backrooms. Much better, much better. So let me just share the screen, and I'll pull up IMDb. Let's see. Can I put this up in the corner? Oh, I can't. I was having trouble last week. Okay. Oh, I didn't pull up IMDb. Oh, we can't. Let's do a new tab. Once this gets loaded up, we can get started. So I'll start with The Backrooms. For our special double feature tonight. Here we go. Perfect. Okay, let's get this poster up. The Backrooms was directed by Kane Parsons. It was written by Will Sudick and Kane Parsons. It was made on a budget of $10 million. And so far, as of this recording, June 27th, 2026, the budget for this movie was $10 million, but the worldwide box office is $301.8 million. That's incredible. Sorry about that. Oh, hold on. Okay. Since I'm not really sure what it cut out on me, I'm just going to start over. I'm going to start with the Backrooms. I do apologize for the technical difficulties. Lost signal there for a minute. So let me just get my bearings. Hold on, I got to put this stuff back in. So here, let me just share the screen. Then I'll make a note too, so I can put a little timestamp. So I remember the review actually starts like 9 minutes in. I didn't say 10. I still have to do some stuff. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. Put me in the corner. And back to IMDb. So here's the poster. And then I'll read the description on IMDb. After a therapist patient disappears into a dimension beyond reality, she must venture into the unknown to save him. So, the question remains. If the backrooms are a place that are beyond comprehension, would a comprehensible film about them be indicative of contradiction? Think about it. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But if not, it's okay. I'll fill you in, but I'm not going to spoil anything. This will be a spoiler-free review because I'm pretty sure some people haven't seen it yet. So let's get back to the poster. Hold on, share the screen. Almost forgot. All right. And again, I do apologize for the technical difficulties. Here we go. If it loads. And then we can get started. Here we go. The Backrooms was directed by Kane Parsons. It was written by Will Sudick and Kane Parsons. It was made on a budget of $10 million, and at the time of this recording, June 27th, 2026, it's made a total of $301.8 million. That's incredible. So, Kane Parsons was selected, in case you weren't aware, because of his animated YouTube shorts that went viral. There's a whole series of them. It's like 3 hours in total. If you can get a chance to watch them, I recommend. So the script is inspired by those shorts. And it's one thing I want to include too is that this is also Sudick and Parsons' interpretation of the Backrooms. Because originally, this started off as a creepypasta about the fear of liminal spaces that started with a picture posted by an anonymous user on 4chan's paranormal board in May 2019. With it, a blurb read, "If you're not careful and no clip out of reality into the wrong areas, you'll end up in the backrooms, where it's nothing but the stink of moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum humbuzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell heard you." And this uncomfortable feeling translates in the film all too well. Sorry, quote, unquote. I probably should have said that. But yeah, that's the quote that came with the blurb. The story is left simple, in order for characters to be forced to face their own deeply repressed traumas, which regard their personal lives, while their grasp with reality bends. The creatures that stalk them in the backrooms are heavily tied to unresolved grief, guilt, and memories of the people they know. So given this information, without saying too much, I do appreciate how the story goes in ways that I didn't expect. This is not your conventional Hollywood movie, and I love it for that. Parsons does a great job combining traditional filmmaking with the found footage style. Now, the found footage style is integral with the background, so the fact that they kind of mixed it up and included both is really cool, especially the way they do it. It feels very natural. This creates a strong, tense, consistent atmosphere. Brandon Lynch frights through a creepy sense of existential dread. And there's this lingering unease, rather than relying on heavy gore or jump scares. It's refreshing. A wide variety of camera angles and shots are used to show these eerie, vintage 1990s style liminal spaces, invoking claustrophobia due to the emptiness of the yellow lit corridors with this decaying wallpaper. These are some really elaborate set pieces too. It's nothing short of impressive. They actually constructed 30,000 square feet of practical sets for the film. They said in different interviews too that the cast and crew kept getting lost in the maze that they built. So I just thought that was funny. Another thing I want to point out is the unsettling soundscape. It adds to the dread extensively, because that repugnant buzzing sound of these fluorescent lights, it's just so annoying. It really gets to you. It really pushes on the boundaries of maximum unease. They also use music sparingly too. I love the score, but I also like how they rely on silence too. It makes you listen for what's going on around you, or around the characters, but you know what I mean. It makes you pay attention. This is not the kind of movie that you can just be scrolling on your phone and only half paying attention to. You really got to focus on this movie. It deserves your full attention. Otherwise, you're going to miss something. Another impressive feat is actually including something that I've always wanted to see in a found footage movie, but I haven't seen yet, and I'm surprised I haven't. But basically, I don't want to say too much, but somebody puts the camera down out of necessity so they can help out somebody else, and then suddenly, some unseen entity off screen picks up the camera. I jumped. It's one of the scariest scenes in the film, and it's in the preview too. That's not a spoiler. But yeah, anyways, bravo. That was incredible. Because right before it happened, I'm like, that'd be cool if this happened. And then they do it. And I was like, oh my God, that still scared the hell out of me. I don't know how they did it, but wow, well done. So let's talk about these characters. It's got a pretty small cast. Before I go on, I just want to check to see if there's any comments or anything. No comments, that's cool. Everything's running smoothly. Good, good. All right, I'm done. Okay, let's start with that. Okay, I always struggle with this guy's name, so bear with me. Sorry, folks. I'm terrible with names. Chiwetel Ejiofor? Hopefully I said that right. He plays Clark, a divorced, alcoholic, former architect, now running a struggling furniture store. His performance is nuanced and emotionally authentic, remaining fully engaged in the role, even in moments without dialogue. It's too bad that more time isn't spent with him. He's a major character, yet his story arc happens practically entirely off screen. They go from point A to point C, skipping B in the process. Just feels like a chunk of the movie is missing in the middle. But other than that, he's great. One day I'll be able to pronounce his name. All right, let's see. We can get a better picture of that. Oh, I didn't mean to flip that. Hold on. I can get a better picture of that. Let's go here. Okay, and up here. Loads. Here we go. Okay. I just want still frames. Let's keep it simple. Okay. That's the good one. Okay, cool. Renata Reinsev, sorry if I butchered that, plays Dr. Mary Klein. She's Clark's therapist. She's also processing the demolition of her childhood home and reckoning with her upbringing under a mentally ill mother. She delivers a strong performance with consistent emotional range. The image of the hand encased in cement stands out as a symbol. Oh my God. I'll try that again. The image of the hand encased in cement stands out as symbolic of an earlier, simpler period before her life became destabilized. We got there. But yeah, she's so good in this. They have pretty good chemistry too, the two of them playing off each other. Great acting. Come on. Okay, and then here we go. Mark Duplass plays Phil. He's an async scientist and Backrooms researcher. Although his role is limited, it's important. And he uses it effectively by emphasizing the character's circumstances, motivations, and goals. He also does a good job of kind of summing up what we just saw and sort of explaining to a point about what's going on in the Backrooms exactly. He conveys the circumstances through a grounded portrayal, shaped by the character's environment and background. His motivations come through in his dialogue choices and deadpan delivery, while his aspirations are expressed through pauses, eye contact, and body language that suggest internal conflict. It's really interesting because you can tell this guy really wants to help, but he really doesn't know what exactly to do or what to make of the Backrooms. Nobody does. So it's just nice to have a character reflect that. Okay, just check. No comments? Okay, that's cool. Here I am. So, overall, This flick is kind of like the Backrooms itself. A logical paradox. Simultaneously incomprehensible, yet still intelligible. A comprehensible film about the Backrooms isn't exactly a contradiction, because it's the only way that the concept can exist in cinema. You have to make it somewhat comprehensible, or else no one's going to understand, no one's going to like it. It wouldn't be good. The film can't exactly reproduce the unknowable. It can, however, approximate it. What really matters is that it preserves the feeling of something just beyond understanding. It doesn't really try to solve it necessarily. It doesn't really have to. It lets you come to your own conclusions. And I love that. Everybody has their own interpretation of it. That's the cool thing about creepypasta. It's very communal. Before this movie, or even before he started doing those shorts, everybody kept adding different lore to the Backrooms. And then it became this huge, big thing online. Let's go back to the poster. Oh, okay. I have a very special guest, actually. She just showed up backstage. So, without further ado, let me introduce my sister, Beth.
Hello.
Hey, Beth.
Hello. Sorry,
How's
I'm
it going?
late. Very
Oh,
good.
no
Thank
worries.
you.
I was
Yeah.
late too. I had some technical difficulties, but we got through it. And we got here. Thank you for showing up.
Perfect. You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So, I've already gave my opinion of the Backrooms. What did you think of this movie?
Oh, I really liked the whole ambiance and the theme of the movie. I really liked the direction. I liked the choreography. I liked just the colors of everything, very muted and kind of desolate, just like but like the background was a character, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
totally.
And really how what was the main character's name again? I forget his
Clark.
name.
Clark.
Clark, yes. I kind of liked how his backstory unfolded. I liked how he learned about his family life in bits and pieces, and how he came to discover the door through the wall or
Yeah.
portal. What would you call it? A door or a portal?
It's more of a portal, but keep in mind, I'm trying to keep it spoiler-free, just in case people
Sorry.
haven't seen it. So yeah. So far, you're good, but I just wanted to put that out there too. I didn't say that in the beginning before you showed up.
Yeah.
So yeah, please
But
continue.
I believe that part I think is, and I think that's actually in one of the trailers. Him finding
Yeah,
it. Remember the outline of the wall is in the trailer, so that doesn't give too much away.
Nope, you're fine.
But you really, in the beginning, you were really interested in every little detail. I just like how focused the movie was, and how like even the supporting characters from his store, his workers, we didn't know much about them, but they were very interesting too. I just liked everything. I liked how it was intriguing, the mystery behind it, and how it just captured you right away. I'm not giving away spoilers. But
Yeah, for sure.
no, I loved it. It's very thoughtful. And unlike Hollywood movies where everything is spelled out twice to you. Like everything is so obvious and there's no intellectual, there's nothing deeper. I don't think there's a lot, certain layers in movies don't exist anymore like they used to, but this one was very thought provoking. So I liked that aspect. And I think if Hollywood had made this movie, I think we would have had a very subpar ending, it would have been, I think, a totally different experience. I don't think it would have been made the same way. So I'm happy that this was done by the man who basically invented his own backroom storyline. So I'm very glad that he didn't sell out, and I'm glad he made the film he wanted to and didn't like sell his vision to Hollywood. You know what I mean? I like that. I like how he made it first.
That's a good point. He has artistic integrity. I respect that about him. You're right. I just want to touch back on what you said real quick. If it was made by Hollywood, it would have been dumbed down and it would have been full of all these like stupid like fake out jump scares and stuff like that. So I'm really glad that they went this approach too. And touching on something else that you said about the atmosphere, it really is hard to describe how uncomfortable it is to watch this movie because the whole time you're just on edge, especially when you're just in the theater and you're surrounded by all this sound. You know what I mean? It's just like you really get sucked in. So I highly recommend see this in theaters if you can. And I'm really happy this movie's doing so well.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing, and I think that he had built up such a following online that I think he could have taken the story many different directions, but I like how he, like you said, it's intellect. It's he is very creative and he has a lot of integrity because anybody with this first experience at his age could have been like, oh, I've got, we're gonna do this and this and this and blow up the budget, or maybe we'll be no, but he didn't. He kept his own vision, and they allowed him to, But what did you think of the female character, like his doctor?
Oh yeah, I forget her name too. Hold on, I have it written down.
I didn't check my notes. Sorry,
Mary. That's okay. I got my notes here. She played Mary. Yeah, I thought she was really good. I've mentioned it a little bit before, but I'll go a little deeper into it too. I like how her story goes because we actually do get to see his story. I didn't like how some of Clark's story happened off screen, and then all of a sudden, what happens? Like toward the movie, it's like, wait a minute, we didn't see that, like
the evolution to his.
The evolution. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But I really like how they've showed a little bit of the flashbacks. I've heard a lot of complaints online about those flashbacks being pointless, but that's character development. Like, you get to know who she is through these little like memories that she has with her mom. And I like how that all comes full circle at the end. I won't say too much, but at that dinner scene, how she really gets to confront her problems. And I like how she's the opposite of Clark, if you know what I'm saying. She has to confront her problems. Clark doesn't want to confront his problems. And that's all I'll say about that. But yeah, I thought she was great. And the chemistry too. They had really good chemistry playing off of each other with their scenes together.
Yes.
I know how she fell through the fly. That was really cool. The fly goes through the portal.
Right. I don't know how to word this, but they were using, like, she was treating him in his sessions, and that's where we learned about the struggles in his life and with his marriage. And then as she becomes more into the story, as she's looking for Clark, the role has changed, and the Backrooms was using Clark to help her with her issues.
Yeah.
It was a role switch.
Depending on how you look at it, either one could be the main character, and the other one's the side character. Because the story kind of works that way. And it's cool how everyone has their own interpretation of it.
But I think that the first, I wouldn't even say there's 3 acts in this. I kind of feel like there's, it kind of is like the first act is Clark's story and the second act is Mary's. Do you know what I mean? Like, it sort of feels like the focus switched a bit. And my only thing is we didn't see the transition of that evolution in him as a character. But if we had, it wouldn't have been so shocking. We wouldn't have had that same effect. When we saw
I considered that. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So I don't mind that part so much. I would just say there wasn't really a clear it wasn't really a clear timeline of how long he'd been going in there
Right.
before seeking his coworkers to join him. And I know it's been days, but they didn't really say how long it was until the doctor started looking for him. So that I wish that had been more transparent. But
Yeah, our only clue really is the stacking mail. Looks like it was stacked up for a couple weeks maybe, but we don't know.
yeah, we don't know. And because the door wasn't locked, it's amazing that no one just walked in and stole things, right? Like, they must live in
Yeah,
a very safe part of town. If that
that's
happened
funny.
in Welland, if that was in Welland, that place would be empty. You know? Right. Hmm.
So I
Uh,
was looking into it, and the word liminal actually has two meanings. It's kind of interesting. It means
okay.
something existing in a transitional state in between places, or it could also be a threshold between, like a purgatory between life and death. You know what I mean? And I like how it kind of plays on both angles of that. If you watch the movie, it's kind of like that. But I think it also touches on like memory distortion and isolation too. Hi, Logan. That's my nephew, Logan.
Hi.
Hey, Logan, say back section.
Back. Back session. Back sessions. Yeah. They don't.
Yeah.
No, I agree. That is very interesting. The two definitions of liminal. That's very intriguing.
Thank you. I'm just going to add a little picture here because I forgot to do that before. 1 second.
Yeah.
There's. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my computer's being slow. Hold on.
That's right.
Issues with the file. Try again. Oh, it's not working. Okay. I just tried to share the back session picture. That's okay. It's the thumbnail. Whatever. Moving on. Technical difficulties. Again.
Oh,
It's been a rough night. But yeah, I
Hey.
like how the Backrooms is like warped versions of different people's memories. So whoever enters it, it changes depending on who you are. You know what I mean? And then you got the still lifes, which is like the replicas of the people. Like that's a really cool idea too. I like how they expand on that. What do you think of those still life creatures?
Right. Interesting. That's great. What did you think of if there's no character name of the creature? Do we want to
No.
talk about the creature? No.
Yeah, we can talk about some of the creatures. The creatures are called still lifes. I like how the design looks. They're like replicas. They have like there's like layers of like the eyes, and then you have like the mouth is like layered, and it's like
Mhm.
sectioned off. Like, it's really cool special effects they got. I really like the practical effects in this movie. It's really cool. It's not too like CGI heavy, and that's a problem I have with a lot of modern horror movies nowadays. So I like how they went that route with it. And then something really gross and weird happens, but I don't know if I want to talk about that.
No, let's
No,
not.
that's
Let's
good.
not. It's not. But
This
it's
involves
very
eating, I'll say that.
right. Yeah.
Don't watch this.
And I like how they're
It's not like a gross movie or anything like that, but there's this one moment where something happens. It's like, oh, oh, oh.
did not see that coming. Holy
Has
crap.
to do with eating. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. And how they were like they functioned as like they were not quite human. They were it's we it's like there's one shot of the cinematography, they're going from the top layer, the back rooms, and they go through 5 or 6 layers, and every layer down it was more degraded, like the images and more like blended in together and melded together. Do you know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
so I don't know if those beings are like the second degree or the third degree, you know, because you'd have to assume there's more than one copy of those beings all over the place, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, and it's interesting what they're made of. Well, let's not go into a spoiler of that.
Yeah.
That we learn when at the end, but so
Yep.
interesting. Like it's almost like they're a piece of furniture. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's part of the background, but they're alive, like they're animated, but there, but not, right? So it's very, very interesting that.
Just like everything else, it's familiar, but everything is just slightly askew, slightly off a little bit. So it's
Yeah.
kind of creepy, you know what I mean? But it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can trust these people because, we don't know anything about them really. And I kind of like the mystery. They don't over-explain everything.
Yeah.
A lot of movies over-explain too much. It's like, yeah, we get it. Move on.
No. And it's almost as if once you cross the threshold, or when you go into Logan, we're alive right now. No. Yes, I can hear that. Okay. Sorry, I have a 6-year-old boy who's very much a boy. But it's like once you go into the back rooms, it's almost as if you become part of it, like somehow something of it tapped into you, or you tap into it, and then it almost like does it use it against you? Does it use it against Mary? I'm trying to
It does.
think how to word. Yeah, so it's
it plays with your
very
mind.
fascinating. Very fascinating. But yeah, great cast, and everyone knew their role and played their, did what they were asked of them to do, and like it just worked so masterfully, like the choreography, that background music, not music, it's just the tone of the movie.
Yeah.
What would you even call that? Because it wasn't like,
I'd say the soundscape, because it's
Yeah,
like
the
ambient noise
soundscape.
and stuff like that. It's not really music, but it does have a cool score too. Like the music they do use is sparingly,
yeah.
but I like how it makes you pay attention to what's going on in the surroundings of the characters.
Mhm.
It makes you listen.
Yeah.
I gave a warning before, this isn't the kind of movie you could be scrolling on your phone during the movie too. You really got to pay attention to it. So I really want to reiterate that this movie deserves your full attention, please.
Yeah, and like I didn't want to leave the back. I did. It was intense, and you felt like you were in it, but it's like I wanted to go back. I wanted more. It's like I wanted to see more. I wanted like.
We know there's going to be a sequel. This movie is so successful. Of course, there's going to be a sequel.
It is. Let's hope it's not Joker 2.
I'm speculating, but I'm saying
What?
Nothing official. I'm just speculating, but I have a feeling they're going to do more. I really hope so.
Oh yeah,
Different versions of the Backrooms.
Yeah, because right. I wonder if there's a timeline.
There is. There's a video by a YouTuber named CZ World. I shared it with you before, I think. It's the timeline, the history of the Backrooms. He goes all the way from where it started online, and then he goes through like the online shorts, and then what everybody else added through different like online forums and stuff like that, and then eventually the movie today. So it's a really interesting video.
That's great. Because is that just from Kane's, or is that just from other contributors as well, or just Kane's perspective?
It's mainly Kane's, yeah, but he starts with that photo in the beginning, and then because the one that was posted, and they talked about a little bit about the history, about how it kind of blew up online, and then it goes into Kane.
Yeah, because I think Kane has to stick to his vision of it, because I think that's the property they like when they, because it's like open source material. So I think they only were able to make a movie about it because it was Kane's work. So I don't think Kane can step too much out of his, I don't know what he can and cannot do because they bought his property. Do you know what I'm saying? So I wonder how much. So because he expressed in interviews that he envisioned this more of a series, because there's so much that he wants to make of it, this to be like a big thing. So I think if it's maybe a trilogy, or even, I don't want it to be an Avatar situation, by or like a scary movie where there's 6 of them. But if they're all
Yeah.
engaging, if
Yeah.
if there's momentum and if he's still making money and it's engaging, then why not? If the story takes them there.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
that's how interesting it
Putting
is.
up the poster here. Yeah.
And you know what?
Go
When
ahead.
they were doing the screenings, the original screenings, they were giving after the movie, they were all of the people, the critics that were watching it, were given a survey, and like that's one thing with Kane's experience is that when it's online, there's a open loop of feedback from like your not customers but your viewers.
Viewers,
And
yeah.
yeah, so when they had that survey, like he's still interested, like he likes having that communication back, and he listens and he understands what his audiences want. Hollywood doesn't do that. Hollywood just puts out, this is what we're making, this is what we're doing, and you're going to like it. And if you don't like it, and if you don't accept it, then you're a racist and it's your fault and you don't understand art. And
yeah, exactly.
we know what we're doing. Who are you, minions? Well, then we won't
Yeah.
give you your money. We won't spend our money. We won't spend our time watching your things. And people like Hollywood is starting maybe to listen because every blockbuster after blockbuster flops, so
Yeah. Especially
but
since
will
this will
they?
be more than the new Star Wars movie. That's incredible. That says a lot.
It does, but will Hollywood just be stubborn and not, so how much is Hollywood a mouthpiece for other big interest, out there,
No doubt.
government or otherwise? But so the fact that Kane was basically from all the early um releases that were being in the process of making the film, like asking, would you like to see these characters, would you like to explore other characters, like do you like these storylines? So he wants to make a product that people are interested in. And I don't know the result of those surveys. I don't think they'll release them, but I think, how many movies do that? Like none. How many
Fun.
companies do that? Like none.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before. That's really cool.
So yeah, I was impressed. And he's
Yeah.
very well spoken when you watch Kane in interviews. I really appreciate like his
One thing I didn't mention
perspective.
before is how young he is. He's only like 20. It's incredible. And he
Yeah.
made those videos when he was like 16. This was 4 years ago. So
Really?
that's amazing.
So the fact that I think A24 is an interesting studio because they don't care. They'll put a movie out even if they don't think it'll make any money. They'll just throw out movies and they see what sticks. And
Yeah.
they trusted him enough to, like, who knows? No one knows his vision better than him. And, it paid off. So yeah.
They're the opposite of Blumhouse. They're all about the artist. They put the artist first. They're not just about making cash grab movies. You know what I mean?
True.
Their
And
movies
that's
have
why,
purpose.
yeah. But they have had a lot of hits and a lot of misses. Basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A24 hit and misses me. I'm not gonna lie, but when they have good ones, they have good ones, like really good ones.
Yeah.
I like how this film could be taken as it's about memories that betray us over time, and that gradual haziness that contributes to that false sense of security that kind of causes people not to change. You know what I mean? Like people think back to what they did, past mistakes, and they realize, well, was that really that bad? And then they don't remember properly, and then everything gets all messed up inside your mind. Memories can be unreliable over time.
Well, I think going to the Backrooms, I think it forces you to address your memories. I think a lot of people just put them away and then don't revisit them. Like I got the impression that maybe
That's a good
Mary
point.
hadn't thought about, so she was like reliving them, and it was like kind of shocking to her. So I think that it also brings out the past, so challenges you too. I agree with that, but also forces you to confront them.
I can see that. I didn't really consider that. You're right. People try to put stuff in the back of their mind, right? And try not to think about stuff that's traumatic that happened to them.
Yeah.
Excellent point.
Thank you.
So it's not just about not trusting your memories. It's also about hiding your memories from yourself. That's really interesting. I see what you're saying. I also want to talk about the Async Corporation. I like how they're not necessarily evil. They just have kind of questionable behavior. You know what I mean? Because they go from being this MRI machine company, and then they kind of discover the Backrooms, and then they become all about the Backrooms. They just want to figure out what's happening inside of here and how they can use that to their advantage. For the stories
Are you giving me a spoiler? That's a spoiler. No?
No, that's not a spoiler. We're just talking about the company.
Okay.
Because that's what the short videos are all about, how the company found the portal and everything. And then the one it's called Pitfalls or something, it's all about the guy that works for the company. So that's not a spoiler.
Okay.
So yeah, what do you think of the company?
I think it's great. I love him. What's his face? I can't think of his name right now. The actor. Okay.
Oh, Mark Duplass. He played Phil, the scientist.
Yes. He's so great. It's kind of shocking to me how much he's aged. You know, like he's not in front of the camera so much anymore. But yeah, I was shocked. I don't know. He seemed when he joins a cast, he kind of brings a level of I'm sorry, I didn't prep for coming tonight. Like he's so genuine and he commits to his roles and he's very selective. So when I see Mark Duplass in a movie, I know it's going to be a good one because he has a lot of credibility in the independent world and movie making, in front of the camera and behind. So when I see him, I'm like, I just know that's going to be a good movie. It's going to be a really good movie. So he's got a lot of integrity. So when he picks a project, you know it's going to be worth watching. So I like that they brought him on. And I really liked how they one of the questions she asked, like, am I going to live? Like, am I going to be okay? Am I going to be allowed to go? And he's like, that decision is not up to me. So that opens up a whole other door. Like, who's running this company? Like, what is behind that? Like, who's the head honcho, you know, or is he just saying that, but he is the decision maker. So I liked how, you know, that is another door they can explore, you know, like what entry point are they coming from? You know, like how did they find it? Like that. It's all interesting, you know. And the character, the people that are not people, like they're real. Those are copies of real people who are in there, who might have been in there or are still in there. So it's like, who are they? You know, like how did they find it? You know, but he kind of explained it because he said the one guy was from a subway. Like, remember he mentioned off a couple of people, Mark Duplass, where they came from. So I wonder if like all these people are tapped into a consciousness. Maybe they're all troubled people that they have to go through the different layers. You know, like I said, when they were panning down and the different layers, and every layer gets more degraded. I wonder if that's them going through their synapses in their memory or their brain back through like compartmentalizing their own memories and trauma. And the further back they go, the deeper they go in the back rooms, it's like the same thing in your brain. The deeper back you go into your memories, the more degraded they are. I wonder if there's a comparison there to be made, or if that's the thing. But the deeper you go, I don't know. It's just so fascinating. There's so many different ways you can explore, and that's why it's so interesting. And that's why some people, moviegoers who like to go to the movies and they like to just watch what's on the screen, have a good time, be given a plot. Sometimes the plot lines are very thin, but they go like Jackass, for example. When you go see Jackass movies, plot
I don't
line
want
is
to see
thin.
Jackass.
Well, the plot line is
I
thin,
don't
but
want to argue about this on the air.
but you go to those kinds of movies, or oh yeah,
We
but
keep
even
on.
the latest, yeah, but even the latest Marvel movies, like Ant-Man, for example, you go for the movie, you're given a very thin plot, the storyline's unbelievable, the action is subpar half the time, the decision making of these characters terrible, and then you're
Yeah.
giving a flimsy ending, and you want to start, you want a plot, you want an ending, whether it's satisfying or not. Those kind of movies they just like to go to be entertained. This type of movie, it's thought provoking and it makes you think deeply about the experience that you just had, because this movie was an experience. It wasn't just a movie, you
Yeah.
know. And some people
I like
don't
how
go
it's
to the
accessible
movies for
too.
that.
You don't have to see the shorts to necessarily appreciate this because they have enough there that they explain enough to understand. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I don't think it's under-explained. I just think they could have done more to explain characters, not the backrooms themselves. If that makes sense. The
yeah.
background is fun. It's the characters that are kind of lacking. But that's great. I do want to talk a little bit about the ending
Sure.
because I do think it kind of falls apart a little bit because it's kind of underexplained and it gets a little confusing. And then it just sort of has this abrupt ending without saying too much. So basically, there's that. The whole thing is pacing issues. That's what I think it all boils down to. It has this intense, like, found footage style, and I love how the movie starts. The movie starts off perfectly. Like, it's a good way to set up what you're about to experience. I just think that because of the slow boil pacing, the ending kind of feels rushed. Like they really, really slow, and then we're in the third act all of a sudden, and then we're here in the end. You know what I mean? It feels rushed toward the end. That's another complaint I have about the movie. What do you think? Do you think it feels rushed? Beth, still
Well,
with me?
I don't think
Okay.
it feels right. I think because I mean, they could have showed maybe 20 more minutes of them going through like the suspenseful back rooms, but I don't think that was really necessary for the storytelling. Like sometimes when you watch a movie, the biggest complaint is, oh, this movie was 206 minutes long and it could have been, cut down by 20, 30 minutes. I think that for the storytelling, but that's life though. I mean, it just, she found Clark, and then they had an interaction, and then that kind of escalated quickly, but in a very shocking way. But
Yeah.
I, I don't I think you're experiencing it from her perspective at that, because like I said, it feels like there's really just, I feel like the focus is like Clark's the main character, and then the focus it changes, and then she becomes the main character. So I think we're experiencing it from her perspective, and it does feel rushed because she just found Clark, and then all this stuff happens, and things can go wrong and can get very hectic. And I think that's what happened in the movie. And I think in real time, that's what happens in life sometimes. Like, say one day you just go to the bank, and then all of a sudden there's a robbery at the bank, like, and then it just goes crazy and haywire. Well, that's just life. Like, that's just what happens.
Oh,
Like, it's
that's a
just
really good point.
the situation that just came about, and it just happened that way. And then she had to get out of there. She had to go. And I think it's very lucky that Mark Duplass, that they found her.
Yeah.
Otherwise, she would have been stuck in there,
Yeah.
like him.
I
Yeah.
like
So
the main monster too. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, there's no way for her to find her way back. I don't think she could have found her way back to the
No.
store. The store. So she finds a replica, a degraded version of the store. She thought she was safe, remember? And then she's like, wait a minute, this is not quite right.
It was
And
good.
that was good. And then she's being chased by something. It's kind of amazing that, she goes so fast and that what was chasing her went so slow. But because like he seems to know where he's going. She's the one, like he's after her. She's trying to get out. So she's hectic looking for a way out. She's like a mouse, like in a little maze, trying to figure it out. So he's very calm. It's very calm. So I just think it's very lucky that they just happened to stumble upon an entry point for the scientist, and they grabbed her. I think that I don't feel it's hectic. I feel like to move the story forward, I don't know if I would have been disappointed if it ended with just her lost in there. I don't know if that would have been quite satisfying. This, I think, is the only way that could add some intrigue that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if she's just stuck in there and they end it with her just in a back room locked. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I would have liked that. This adds a layer of, oh, well, first of all, it's a known thing, known to people who are investigating it, and they don't have any answers. So I kind of like it makes it on a bigger scale. Like it's not just a unique thing just for them. Like it's a bigger thing and it's growing. Like they said, there's more rooms, and so I think that correlates to the amount of people that are coming into the back rooms. So
there's different random points you can enter too, so anybody can come in at any random moment.
Yeah, right. So they should have had presented her with a map. Like, this is the store. This is where we are. This is another entry point. Like, maybe they could have presented her with, because of her experience and her profession, if there was an angle she could approach it. You know what I mean? She's not a police detective or anything, so maybe not. But so maybe if we had more conversation with Mark Duplass to figure out what happened, but I don't feel like it was rushed. I just feel like that's what happens. You're being chased, and it's the only fast-paced section of the movie, so that's why it feels rushed, because the whole movie has a certain tone and a feel, and it's very slow. So I don't feel it was rushed. I just feel like the scenes were rushed because they had to be. That's what happens in life. That's what happened to her. So
that's true. It goes into like fifth gear at the end. It ramps up really fast. Okay.
Yeah,
that's
when you're being chased, that
you're not thinking, you just go.
Everything. Yeah. So, and then you're so engaged in the movie, your heartbeat's racing, and then you feel tense, like you're tense in your seat, and you're fully committed to what she's experiencing.
Yeah.
So, so to me, I think that the scene went on a long time. Like it wasn't like a quick scene where she was being chased and it lasted 5 minutes, So I appreciate that.
Love a good chase scene. Yeah.
Yeah. I can hear you. Yeah.
And a lot of times too, I complain about when they show the monster, but in this one, they showed the monster. It actually like scared me. I was taken aback a little bit. Did you notice that? I was like, oh, like it got me. I was like, this thing's disturbing.
Yeah.
I love the look of the creature. I think it's all practical too. Like it was a guy in a costume, so that's pretty cool.
But it was a part of Clark's history. It was Clark.
Yeah, to a point, yeah, but we're starting to get into the spoiler territory. I don't want to get.
Oh, sorry. No. Okay.
It's just a part of him. That's good. That's good. I understand how people might argue that the eerie environment has severe limitations, or that the movie might feel random, and that might sacrifice meaningful answers just to keep the audience guessing. But I think that the ambiguous storytelling is a good thing for this, because like you said, there's so many different interpretations of just that one scene. It can be taken in so many different ways, and the whole movie's like that. So some people might find it frustrating. I think it's intriguing because it doesn't answer everything. You don't want too many answers. Then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, this is kind of like BS. You know what I mean? Like some answers are too much.
Right. No, it's not. It's not in your headphones right now. Sorry. 1 second.
Oh, no problem.
It's not in your headphones. Turn on your Bluetooth. No, because I can hear your phone.
I also like how this movie's not trying to be Inception. And by that, it's not preoccupied with its own cleverness to the point of pretentiousness. And it's not this over-the-top CGI fest either. It's not drowning in its own self-indulgence. You know what I mean? Instead of being too busy explaining stuff, it just tells the story of these two people and how their paths cross.
Yeah.
It puts substance over style that way, without these lecture-like explanations. It's really good. They let the characters talk, and that's how we learn about them, just like real life.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you said before. That's how you learn about people. You talk to them.
And I like how they started with the found footage, but it was a bit ambiguous about who found the footage, because I don't believe it wasn't any of our characters that we're introduced with that made those films. Yeah. So I like that. I did like the found footage.
I like how it comes back to that too, because we find out who's watching these tapes, and then it kind of pulls away from the TV. And you're like, oh, we've been watching the TV. It's like, that was really cool.
Right?
Clever camera trick.
The creatures don't go after the other characters. What did you call them before? The ones that are just part of
still life.
Still life. Yeah. But the still lifes are scared of the creatures, but they don't get attacked by them.
No.
Well, did they?
Well, the one was afraid of the other one. She ran out of the room before
he ran out of the room. Yeah.
The one that was she was like a replicate of his ex-wife or something. Because the whole thing with the hair happened during the role play game. God. They did. That was really weird.
Don't. No, I forgot. Yeah. Oh God, no, God.
Yeah, no, I won't get too into it, but yeah, it gets pretty gnarly.
Oh, yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed this film. This is psychological horror done in ways that actually make you think, kind of like what you mentioned before. And I like how it's accessible. You don't necessarily have to see the short films or anything on YouTube to understand this movie. It gives you just enough so that you can understand. Would you agree with that? Beth?
Oh, so she froze.
Oh, she froze. Okay. Am I frozen? Am I frozen?
I don't think so.
Okay. Sorry, folks. I temporarily lost my sister.
Okay, I'm back again. Yes. No, it's very intellectually stimulating. So I think that, if you're like one of those moviegoers that wants a clean, a clean storyline with a opening, like a beginning, a plot, and a conclusion, it's not that. But that's what makes it interesting, and that's why people were so hungry for this, because of the lack of storytelling in Hollywood. I think people were hungry for some originality, not another sequel, not another prequel, something different.
Yeah.
We're not being spoon-fed. Yeah, like if this went up against the new Avengers movie, I still think it would have made the same amount of money. Like I don't think there's any energy into the DC universe or the Marvel universe, not like before. Like what Marvel had before cannot be recreated, and they're not going to let it go. So I think there's a lot of room for more movies like this, and I hope more movies like this get made. If
I had to compare it to anything, sorry, go ahead. I thought you were done.
No, I just hope there's clearly now they know that there's an audience. Young people, they said young people don't go to the movies anymore. Like they everything that they told us was not true. They're trying to convince themselves.
Yep.
But this shows between this and Obsession, like it just shows that there is an appetite for more intelligent filmmaking, and I hope they give it to us. I hope that continues. I hope this opens a door for new blood, new directors, new creators, new, perspectives, new storytelling. So hopefully this is the beginning of a new chapter in Hollywood, because Hollywood is tired. And yeah, we need more of this movie. So
Yeah, no doubt. If I had to compare it to anything, I compare it to Into the Tall Grass, Vivarium, Grave Encounters, As Above, So Below. And I'd even go as far as compare this to the Blair Witch Project, because it really matches that kind of atmosphere and aesthetic. Would you agree with that, or those fair comparisons?
yeah, I really liked As Above, what is it?
As Above,
As
So
Above,
Below. Yeah,
So
that's what it
Below.
reminded me of, because they go into the catacombs,
Really
and it's
good.
kind of a
Yeah.
similar situation, but not exactly. It's not
That
a
was
copy of
good.
that by any means.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. Okay. I have to look this up. It's been forever since I watched it, and it's a comedy. It's not a horror.
Okay.
But can you look it up? It has Lily Tomlin, and it's an indie film. And
Okay.
it has the other main character. Oh, do you remember the Royal Tenenbaums?
Yes.
Okay, so it was one of the characters. Oh, what is the name of it? Can I look it up for a second? Let me just look it up one
Yeah,
second.
go ahead. Yep. Go ahead, look
Okay.
it up. I'll talk while you do that, not a problem. So I highly recommend this visually striking, intensely atmospheric horror film, which successfully expands on the Backrooms concept into a full-length feature. Even with its ambiguity, even with its ambiguousness,
Okay.
and sparse storytelling, it still works. But I understand how this isn't really for everybody. Some people, they might think it's too slow, or doesn't explain enough, or there's not enough like action going on. Yeah, this is a very talky film. There's a lot of conversations involved, which is a highlight. I think it's positive. More movies need to be conversation driven, because that's life. I mean, that's how you get to know people, right? Did you find it?
I'm still looking. 1 second.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I'll keep talking. Cool.
Okay. Have you ever seen I Heart Huckabees?
Yes. That's
Okay.
so good.
Okay, it's so good. And when it came out, it's so original. It's not a horror. I'm not comparing it in any other way, and other than it was a very intellectually stimulating premise to the movie that really made you think, in ways that most movies don't make you think about things and life. And that was a more of a perspective on life, and very thought-provoking and very interesting. So this movie is very thought-provoking and interesting in ways like that, where you really have to dig deeper. So yeah, I really love this. It's so original. I really, really appreciate the minimalism of the movie, and I'm excited to see what happens. Now, I hope it doesn't turn into like a Joker and a Joker 2 scenario.
Oh no.
Right. This Joker was such a good movie. And didn't it make $1 billion?
It did.
Yeah.
I think we saw that together when it came out. Didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Those were the movies.
Yeah. So I don't I don't think he'll pull a Todd Phillips there.
Hopefully not.
No. I think that he will. I think he probably already had an idea where he wanted this to go when he made this Backrooms. I think this is already his vision. I think I don't see it just being I see it being at least a trilogy. I don't see it. I don't know if you could just have a satisfying conclusion in only one more,
Yeah.
one more installment.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to see if he sticks with these, because really, if he sticks with this storyline, it will just revolve so much on her and, of course, the company, right?
Yeah. Async.
Would you rather see that more, or would you rather see another like entry point with two other characters? Because they could do the second installment could be an entry point and two more characters coming in. But I think for continuity, they could do that somehow. But also, because could you involve two new people? Like, say there's another entry point, another storyline. But I feel like if they did that, it would feel too much like a soap opera, where you're bouncing. A soap opera is bouncing around from one storyline to another all the time. This one was so clear cut in how it was produced. I think they'd have to stick with the same. Unless they introduce another two characters or another storyline and then blended them together with this one. But I kind of feel like it might. Oh, I don't know if that would actually work. I kind of feel like they have to stick with this Mary, with this storyline, and then go deeper into this company. And maybe as they're exploring, maybe they run into more people. I don't think they could come at it from like a Clark perspective again. I don't know if that would work. What do you think?
I think the second one should be about the scientist in this one. I forgot his name already. Hold on, I wrote it down.
Yeah,
Phil.
Mark the Plus.
It should be about him, or it should be about another scientist. And then I think I can kind of see this being a franchise, kind of like Paranormal Activity. It's got one storyline, but you have different characters that come in, and you see how they're connected to the original characters from that first movie. Like the second one's about the girl's Katie's sister, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the third one's a prequel. It's about the kids it's about the two girls when they're younger. And then the fourth one is like their cousin or something like that. So I think you can add to Mary's family, and you can add to her story, but not with her specifically, because you can learn about her through other people.
Yeah,
that'd be a different way of storytelling. I think that'd be cool.
I think bringing in Mark Duplass was genius, because if they go into more heavily the story of the company and what they're doing, and he can be like in Creep, he has such range to be such a good bad guy. If he becomes that in this, he has a range to do anything, and he's such a good actor. He could very well move into the next leading role opposite of her as they go further into the back rooms. I can't imagine they're going to let her go. I can't imagine that will be a thing.
Another thing I want to point out is, why would you get an actor of that caliber if you didn't have some sort of plans with them? He doesn't have a huge role in this one, so I think they have more in store for him. I think he has like a multi-picture deal or something.
I think so.
I'm speculating, of course.
So going into the movie, I'm very familiar with Backrooms. I've seen a lot on YouTube, but I purposely did not watch a lot of his material because I didn't want any spoilers or feel of where he would go with it. So, but Mark Duplass is so good, and I think we need to learn more about the company and what they're doing and why and how they, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much there that could be explored that would be so good. And yeah, they have to they have to go deeper. They have to dig deeper. But yeah, that's the thing. There's so much. There's so much. It's so layered. It's so complicated. But that's
Yeah,
why
I
it's
love the
so good. It's great, and people ate it up. Like I can't believe people wanted to see it more than once. I'll see it
yeah, it's
again.
incredible.
To see it in the theaters again, I wouldn't do it. So it'd be interesting to see the statistics on how many people went to go see it multiple times, or is our box office just all people who would just word of mouth, just his own fans already built in, or just like you said, people, oh, that's original. That sounds interesting, because people could have gone to see it like the first round, like when it first came out, and word of mouth, people were talking about it online. People pretty much knew the story, but they still went to go see it, So yeah, it's very. So I'm really curious to see when they break down the demographic of who actually watched it and how many times.
Good question.
Right? Because it could have easily been a success, but like a cult classic, you know what I mean? Like a lot of these movies that come out that are indie films, they do make a little bit of noise in the box office, even the good ones, but they just don't have the exposure. So, so it's very curious, and Hollywood really tried to downplay this, and they didn't talk about it, and I think this is like the anti-Hollywood movie, So I just loved it. I love it. I love it.
I love how
We're
the
not gonna.
script understands that. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go please.
Okay. I love how the script understands that clarity isn't exactly the opposite of mystery, but the frame that but it makes it possible to feel like you're in this place like firsthand. You know what I mean? Like you actually feel like you're in the backrooms when you're in those scenes.
Yeah.
It's got this balance, and it becomes clear that the backrooms don't have to be understood to be effective. They have to feel inescapable, and that's what I think this movie does a great job of doing. You really feel lost in this movie, in a good way.
Yeah, and the way that they did, you didn't even need to have like the found footage to feel that, You didn't even need to have it, and it was really so engaging. Yeah.
So let's talk grades. What would you grade it?
Definitely extra large popcorn.
Yeah, I agree. My official grade is extra large popcorn.
Yeah. And I'll see it again for sure.
Yeah, I think we covered this movie pretty well. Do you want to start talking about Obsession now?
Oh, Obsession. Yes. Obsession. Oh gosh. You can start. Yeah, you can start into the Obsession.
I need to get set up. I'll pull up the poster and then we will get started. Thank you again for joining tonight, Beth. I really appreciate that.
Of course.
Nice to have you.
I don't have much longer because it's really late and it's a busy day tomorrow.
Yeah, no problem. We'll keep this brief if my computer loads. Come on. Okay, here we go. Obsession. So if you have to go, just let me know, or then I'll finish up.
I think they helped each other by coming out around the same time. I think that they had the momentum from Obsession going into Backrooms. They were so complimentary in there, and the being a part of the horror genre and coming out so close together. I think that helped them both. But weren't they both also released by A24?
No. Obsession was Blumhouse. So let me just start by reading the description and then we can go on. After breaking the mysterious one Wish Willow to win his crush's heart, a hopeless romantic finds himself getting exactly what he asked for, but soon discovers some desires come at a dark, sinister price. Okay, so here's the poster. I like this poster too. I feel like the best posters tell you what you need to know about the movie without saying too much. And this is actually a scene from the movie, and that's pretty cool. Hold on, I'm trying to get rid of this thing. It's in my way. Okay. But yeah, he's got it there in his hand. You can see kind of the shadow in the background. He's sitting in his car. This is the moment just before he snaps the One Wish Willow. And I like when movie posters can do that. So what are your thoughts on this movie?
Oh, well, Chris and I went to go see these movies in the same night, and I'm very glad we saw them in the order. I think that would have affected how we liked each of them. Like, I think if we had seen Obsession first, with the tempo of Backrooms is so dramatically different, we might not have had that same experience. So I'm very glad we saw it in that order. And I think this is, very engaging. I think I like the setup of the story. Like, I liked how, like, really the main character, I feel it wasn't Bear. I feel like it was the girl he was obsessed with. Like, it wrapped around his storyline, but she stole the show. Like, she was amazing. And we saw her transformation go from her being an independent woman into this girl that was just obsessed with him to a very unhealthy degree. But it wasn't like just overnight. And I like how when there are times when she was breaking through, like her own, like the real her was breaking through. Oh man, like she acted with a different actress. It wouldn't. I don't think they could have pulled it. Like, it would not have been successful. But she was so good in her role, and I liked the story. I liked all the acting was great, was phenomenal. So the decision making by Bear, I found questionable. Like,
Well, he's the villain for sure.
yeah, for sure.
I don't think there's any question there. He's the villain of this movie.
Yeah. And if he would have just had a rational conversation with his best friend, this is not a spoiler, but given the relationship of the best friend and the girl, what is her character's name again?
Nikki.
Nikki. I think a rational conversation could have been had when the One Wish Willow was presented to him, but
yeah,
he could have gone to any of his friends and said, "Look, can you just make this wish for me?" Like, I think it could have been. I think he could have corrected. I think once he figured out the problem, I think he could have fixed it right away. But whether it was his own ego or he could not accept the fact that, what about her? What about me? Could she not like, if, like, why couldn't she like me? Why couldn't she love me? Everyone was questioning, well, why is she so into you? Like, it was so, and then he kind of took it as a way, well, why wouldn't she? Like, why, of course she loves me. Like, his ego outweighed his morals, I think, and what he should have done in the situation. So what happened is all his own doing, and it was. But I wish they would have dove deeper into him. Do you know what I mean? Like, he just kind of comes off a little bit like very shallow, like a very quiet guy, like this girl who was just friend zoned him. But there wasn't really a whole lot of depth to him, eh? Do you find? I think that, yeah.
No, I didn't agree with that. I think we know plenty about Bear, but hold on. Before I answer that question, I just want to throw this in. It was written and directed by Curry Barker. This movie was made on a budget of $750,000, and so far as of this recording, well, now it's January. Sorry, not January. June 28th, 2026. This movie's made $339.2 million. That's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, but to go back to your question, no, I disagree with that. I think Bear, I think we know just enough about him. He's kind of like that character in the rom-com, the friend that's in the friend zone, with the girl that realizes, oh, love was there all along, and it was that friend, but it's like the darker version of that. So I like how they flip that character around. You know what I mean? I
Oh,
think
he's
it's
just your,
really
yeah, he's
sorry?
just like your typical guy. There's not much special about him, you know, like
Yeah, and that's the point. He's
he
just
ends
your
up,
average guy. There isn't really anything special about him. He lacks confidence. He lacks courage. At one point, hold on, I want to show the camera this. At one point,
yeah,
Nikki gives him the tiger's eye. And hold
yeah,
on, remove. I actually wear a tiger's eye bracelet. It's supposed to be for
yeah,
courage. So I love the symbolism in the movie because, well, I don't want to say too much, but you know how he totally disregards the tiger's eye and then everything hits the
yeah.
fan. But yeah. It's supposed to empower him, but it doesn't. So I think there's enough there. Yeah, totally. So I'm
Okay.
just going to put the poster back up. Continue.
Hold on, Logan's asking me a question.
Okay, no problem.
7 plus
I will talk.
23.
I'll
So
tell you after,
Trey
okay?
Barker
60.
got a lot of attention through his YouTube comedy skits. And he joins a growing group of creators who transition from this online content to traditional filmmaking. Some of the other YouTubers that have become movie makers are Chris Stuckman, Markiplier, the Philippo brothers, Michael Shanks, David F. Sandberg, Dan Trachtenberg, and Kane Parsons. So their success is really encouraging for content creators aiming to follow a similar path. Brooker has stated that the movie is also inspired by the Treehouse of Horrors episode with the monkey's paw. Outstanding. I love
Yeah,
that. That's so funny, eh? Of all the things
that
to
is,
inspire this movie, you can think of that Simpsons episode. But if you think about it, it does make sense.
yes,
So I love the way how Barker uses lighting on Nikki's face for a lot of the shots. Her face
yeah,
is barely visible, but you can see this like little glint in her eyes, and the way she smiles is so creepy. And then that scene when he wakes up in the middle of the night and she's like moving around unnaturally in the dark,
Hold on, that's
so
right.
creepy.
What is 37 plus 23?
60. 60.
It's also got good practical effects makeup. The extremity of the gore adds to the level of suspense without feeling gratuitous or just being violent for the sake of it.
Yeah,
That discipline is often used to punctuate horrific events. It's not just used as a gimmick. You know what I mean? Especially, I
yeah.
don't want to say too much, but that scene in the car, it involves a brick.
Oh,
That came out in the movie, and that was shocking.
that was
Like, I
shocking.
kind of thought she would appear in the window, but that escalated so fast. And that's the thing that's so unsettling about this movie. It's unpredictable. Like, in that truest sense, you don't know what she's going to do or how she's going to act. And it's
Right?
just,
But like,
her performance is so good. I have her name. Let's see.
the
Uh,
fact that he even went there to meet up with that girl, like knowing, like I can't believe he did that. I can't believe he did that thinking he was gonna get away with it. You know? Oh,
yeah. So Michael Johnston plays Baron, aka Bear, and
yeah.
Indy Neveretti plays Nikki.
Okay.
She's so good. Yeah. To touch on what you said before, her performance is really something special. I mean, her willingness to shed her inhibitions and fully immerse herself in this character really elevates the film. I agree with you. If it was somebody else, a lesser actress, this movie would not be as good.
No. Yeah.
And
And
as
they
far as Bear goes,
Mm.
sorry, what?
yeah, and the way as she gets more and more obsessed, like if you notice, she gets more and more like physical damage to her body. Like she becomes less beautiful, she becomes less attractive. The more obsessed with him she becomes, the less less attracted he is to her, based on her actions and based on even her physical appearance, how much it changes, through the physical acts of violence that happens to her.
That's
So he
true, because
gets
it
this
starts
very,
showing interest in that Sarah girl. You're right.
yeah. No, but he
It
he
gets
starts
part of her.
he starts liking her less. The more, as soon as he has her, which is a juxtaposition to what happens to girls a lot of times, like girls in life, like when they have when they when there's a guy that girl's interested in, doesn't like her back that makes her want him more, right? And in this story, he wants her. She doesn't like him in that way, but she does. Actually, it's his own fault, because if he was just honest with her, if he was honest with his emotions and honest with her, because she liked him and she gave him the opportunity, do you like me? And he couldn't even be man enough to say yes, because she is into him, but he just wouldn't make a move. And when he was asked, he didn't have the balls to come out and say, yes, I do like you. So he created the situation. If he would have just been honest, this whole thing would have been avoided. He wouldn't have to. But as soon as she became obsessed with him, as soon as she, like, it was the way, I guess, she was into him and her actions. But the more and more she pressed, the more he didn't want her. So you be careful what you wish for, right? But I really like that. That's what he wanted, is what he asked for. But when he got it, he didn't want her anymore. And when he had,
point. Sorry, what?
yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm not entirely convinced that she liked him, because there was that whole other thing going on with the other friend, Ian. That's not really a spoiler. I don't want to say what's going on, but they kind of have their thing going on, and then he's kind of like a smarmy friend, because he gives Bear some bad advice, and gradually, like, you get to see more and more of what Ian's goals are and how he's really manipulating the whole situation with his charm. He's acting like he's his best friend, but then you find out what's going on with him behind his best friend's back. And then it really makes you start to question, like, their friendship, and it makes you question, did Nikki really like Bear, or was she just trying to get him to say it, just to get it out in the open and be done with it, you know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, just tell her already. Everybody's just so fed up at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, so it's like, why was his friend encouraging him to go tell her that he liked her when he clearly liked her? But from what the friend said, I think that Mickey, yeah, from what the friend said, I got the impression that for Mickey it was just a hookup, and the friend liked her more. But to her, it was not a big thing. It was just like they were just hooking up. But she generally asked, when he was dropping her off, do you like me? Like, will you drive me home? She sought him to drive her home. She gave him every opportunity to say, hey, do you like me? So I just got the impression that she was just hooking up with him because he was interested in her, and that was easy. But if she really liked him, then that would have been her boyfriend. A girl.
That's true.
A girl in a relationship, in the dynamic of a relationship, a girl gives a man access to I can't say it, like a physical relationship.
Yeah.
But really, a guy has the key, is the gatekeeper for, like, a relationship. Or is that backwards? No, maybe in this situation it's backwards, because I think the best friend was so into Mickey. If she wanted him to be it was backwards, yeah. If she wanted him to be her boyfriend, they were hooking up. That was her choice. That could have been her boyfriend. So I think she really liked Mickey, but Mickey was so shy. And don't forget, the friend was also very wealthy, so she could have just been attracted to him for his wealth and his status and his home and his money. Because didn't you get the impression that his parents were wealthy?
Yeah, I kind of did get that impression. And the way he dressed, too. The character is Ian. He's played by Cooper Tomlinson. And I can answer your question to what you said before, too, because you asked why would he give his friend advice. Okay, I haven't done this, but I've known guys like this.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys, whenever they hook up with a girl and they find out that, like, one of their friends like them, they'll try and, like, entice them and egg them on and try to get them to go for that girl, knowing that they've already got it and that the other guy doesn't stand a chance. You know what I mean? It's a messed up thing, but guys have this mentality. It's kind of like an ego thing. Like, I've been with her already all this time. You have no idea. Oh, you like her. Okay. So go ahead and try. And he's basically setting them up for failure. It's a messed up thing, but guys do that. That's totally a guy thing.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, setting them up for failure. He knows he doesn't have a chance with Nikki, and he wants to see him flail because he's just tired of hearing about this obsession all the time. He just wants to get it out of his system, you know what I mean? Like, just get over her.
So is this movie titled Obsession for her obsession into Bear, or for Bear's obsession into Mickey?
I think it's about Bear's obsession for Nikki.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I think that is because kind of what you said before, he gets a lot of different chances to kind of make things right, and he doesn't do it the whole time. He's so cowardly, and he's so like self-loathing that he just can't muster up the courage to do anything to fix it himself.
Right.
And that's why, even, I won't say too much, but when he does try to make things right toward the end, it's too late. You know what I mean? He's already gone too far down. And there's little things here and there throughout the whole movie where it's like, okay, you could have handled that a little bit better, buddy, but this is the route that you went. Okay.
Right?
It's all about like consent versus free will. And it's interesting to hear a woman's perspective about this movie too, because I think it was written by a guy, but it's interesting how the specifics aren't clear about whether Nikki is in some sort of purgatory or if she's being possessed by some sort of like a demon or like a genie or something like that. It just kind of adds to the mystery, and I like that. And I like how the one Wish Willow isn't inherently evil, but it depends on whether or not your wish is morally wrong. Because when he talks to the guy that runs the store, it sounds like he made a wish, but his wish didn't ruin his life. Would you agree with that? It all depends on what your kind of wish is. And his wish had like very sinister intentions. So it went and backfired.
His wish affected her free will. It took away her. It took away her ability to have any kind of say in her life. She just became a not a spectator, but like a passenger to what the spell had turned her into. I don't see it. Is it a possession? Could it be looked at as a possession, or like a spell that changed her? And then, what do you think? Do you think it's more of like a possession, like she was being possessed, or a spell took over her?
I think a spell took over her, and her like soul was trapped in some sort of like.
No, she was still in there. She was still in there, like she said. She's like,
true. The soul was there. No,
because she said,
okay.
Remember, because she said, "Oh, she's sleeping now," and when she was communicating as herself to Bear when the consciousness of the because she referred to it as she, but like didn't make her personality split.
Don't wake her is what she said. Yeah, so something like that. So that's a good point. It could be like a split personality, and there's two different sides of her. Because like when they were kissing, for example, she would slip out of it and she would scream and realize like, wait, where am I? This isn't right.
Right. Like her soul was a fighter. Like her soul was fighting back.
Okay. So I was wrong about that. Yeah. Okay.
No, I know. It's a different perspective. No, because this again, like Backrooms, it opens you up to the story. Is open up to interpretation on what the individual watching a movie thought. So neither you or I are correct. It's just our perspective. But that's the genius of this. It lets you decide. It's not like if this was a mainstream movie, they would say, "Oh yeah," they'd have a third party character give some backstory. "Oh yeah, this means she's possessed by this blah blah blah." You know, it would just beat it into your head like what the answer is. But I like the ambiguity. I love the ambiguity, but I mean this movie was it was like you don't want to look but you can't stop. Like you feel so bad for her. You feel kind of like Bear became a victim of himself, you know? You just like everything. It got worse and worse, but it was so intense, and it was so like you were so engaged, and it was just so graphic and scary. This was more gross. It was gross. It was gross and it was scary.
Gross.
And there
Don't
was
eat if you're watching the movie.
there was
Well,
there was a couple jump scares, but this was a genuinely horrifying situation, and you've had empathy for this girl that was going through this because you knew this is not really her, and all these things are being done to her physically, like she's permanently scarred, it's like she's not going to be the same ever again. And I don't like, oh, we're not at the ending yet, but the resolution, I wish there would have been like 5 more minutes of the movie to explain the aftermath, or the ending was not satisfactory. But in terms of like the themes of the movie, I like, it was so dark, and I like the ambiance. I like the film. I liked everything. I liked the background music. I liked the score. Like it, you were so engaged in it, and it was so intense. It was just like, oh, it was one of the most horrifying movies I've seen in a long time.
yeah, I totally agree. There's
Oh,
horror, and then there's this deep, visceral, emotionally painful type of horror. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like this movie goes to the next level. Like you feel icky after watching it. It's just like, ooh,
yeah.
like it really makes you rethink Bear's actions. It makes you think his friend's actions. It makes you rethink the other character,
And,
Sarah, the
and
fourth
she's the
friend, what her.
Sarah's a
Yeah,
victim. Like,
I don't think Bear's the victim, but go on.
she is. Well, they're all a victim of Bears, because
Oh, yeah.
Bear's one wish destroyed 4 lives. His life,
That's great.
the friend's life, Sarah's life.
Yeah.
Um,
And Andy Richter's life too. He was her father.
yeah,
Sarah's father.
yeah. Sarah's father, who owned the store, and Mickey's life. So 5 lives
Nikki. Yep.
were all affected by one wish. And in his mind, he was just making a little innocent wish, and and all but 2 of them lost their lives.
Yeah.
No spoilers, but it just shows, like, I just felt so bad for Mickey. Like, I just, you're watching this, and you just, it's scary, and it's terrible, everything that's happening, and then you gotta feel bad for her. So it plays on so many senses at the same time, including empathy, which is not something that's not something that films put the viewer through. Usually you're scared, you're engaged, you're interested, you're horrified what's happening, you're grossed out, like you're invested in the story. But name me one movie where you're experiencing all the emotions of watching a horror film, plus the empathy for the main character experiencing it. You don't really feel it, because like Saw, you watch the movies and you feel bad for the characters that are getting physically hurt or punished in those scenes,
Yeah.
but not in the same way. No,
The only
I
thing-
not in the same way. You're not challenged emotionally
Yeah.
in the same way as you are in this movie, and that was a unique experience to me anyway. You watch more horror movies than me, and even the horror movies we watch, half the time I'm, playing peekaboo with some of
Yeah.
the things,
Well,
But
to answer your question, the only ones I could think of that have that same like level of like empathy, like you were saying, is like maybe the first Scream with Sydney, because you feel bad all her friends are dying around her, and then Hereditary with the mom. You really feel her pain with what's going on with her kids in that movie. You've seen Hereditary, right? It's
yes,
so good. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a fair comparison as far as
but,
that level of empathy, because you feel so
but in a
bad for
different
them.
way, because I would argue that's different because in this movie, Mickey is the main, not antagonist because she is because she's the one committing the acts that are driving the horror storyline. She
But
is
it's
the
not really her. It's like that
but
alternate.
that's why in those examples you gave, Neve Campbell is not. She's not the one committing the evil acts. They're happening to her. This
True.
character is the one driving the story. Like she's committing all the acts that are making the movie terrifying, but she's also the victim. You know. So
Yes, the unsettling moments are when Nikki slips in and out of that spell because the way she screams is horrific. Like
right,
she
and
has
she
such a
says,
good
"It's not
scream.
me. It's not
It's like
me."
agony, it's bewilderment, it's everything. Yeah.
And then when she's saying it's not me, it's the other side of her that takes the glass to knock her out because she has to take control again. So she's
Yeah.
fighting back internally to take over. Like she's like, it's not me. Remember? And then she slams her head with the bottle to knock her out.
At the party. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other Mickey. That's not her. That's the other Mickey that did that to her.
And I think it was the real Nikki when she was saying that poem too about Hansel and Gretel, because she says, quote, "A love only the branch of a willow tree could conjure," end quote. So I think that was her way of trying to tell everybody that this isn't right. This is because of the willow tree, the one Wish Willow. That was her way of telling people at the party, when she had that clarity. Right before she smashed the roof. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's a really good point.
Yeah. But this is a movie that I can't watch. I can't watch this again. I can't. There's so many images in this movie that will leave you scarred for life.
Yeah.
I really tried not to cover my eyes so much to really experiencing it, but like it was rated R, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh
R. Both movies are rated R.
yeah.
One of the most disturbing scenes, in my opinion, was that sex scene, because Nikki's face is totally like catatonic, and Bear's having the time of his life. But it's like, oh, the more you think about it, the more implications. This is just okay. The film frames the moment more through narrative implication than it does like a cinematic emphasis kind of thing. It focuses less on that physical presentation and more on that psychological and emotional imbalance between the two characters. It's so messed up if you think about it. She's just laying there and her face is just blank. He doesn't even notice. He's totally oblivious. That's one of the most disturbing scenes, I think.
It is. That's like what he's wanted forever. And then if it was the real Mickey, it meant nothing to her. So it's like how one moment can be so life-changing and a culmination of his years of love for her. But for her perspective, it didn't register. It meant nothing. It was nothing.
He becomes really possessive of her too over time too. Like he wants everyone to stop questioning about what's going on and just leave them alone, kind of thing. Did you get that sense too?
That was his ego.
God, leave me alone.
That was his ego. No, that was where his ego. There was challenge. People couldn't believe, why would a girl like her, like a lame guy like him, and then
that's his ego, entitlement.
Entitlement. Well, because at that point she was his possession.
I deserve Nikki for whatever reason he built up in his mind. He feels like he deserves her. You know what I mean? Or like no, he feels like he's the best candidate for her, even though he's not really. Guys do that.
Yeah.
They build themselves up in their head like that.
Yeah.
Very ego-driven. That's totally a guy thing too.
Yeah. I will say, I feel like this ending was rushed because there was if we can jump to the endings, I have to hop off.
Yeah.
I just feel like the ending, like I liked how it happened, but when the way they ended it with just, we're not doing spoilers, right?
No spoilers.
I really wanted to see the aftermath, like after at the point, the end scene in that room with all of the chaos around her, all the chaos that happened, like what happens next? You know, I don't like how they just left it.
It does end pretty
I
abruptly.
didn't.
I agree.
Yeah, I want to see like what happens if when the cops show up. You know what happened. I just needed more. Everything that we experience and we lived through this happening to this poor girl. We deserve to know what's next in her life, and there's no way they can make this a sequel. They can't make a sequel to this. I don't even know if I want to watch it. I don't know where they could go with it. You know what I mean? Like, so I was dissatisfied a little bit with how it abruptly ended. But
Yeah.
the movie itself, what would you grade it? Because I have to run. But what do you?
Okay. I'd give it a large popcorn. I thought it was great.
I give the movie, like the storytelling, the ambiance, the acting was superb. And I'm glad they went with all people who were unknown, because then you get more involved in the story when you have new actors. You know, you get less caught up in like the actor themselves. You know, like I really liked how they didn't have anybody that, you know, like, you know, it's like when you have a movie and you have like one main character, one known actor or actress, you know they're going to have a large role, you know this is whatever. But I think when you have a whole bunch of unknowns, it's really nice because you don't know where the storyline is going to go based on, well, this actor won't take this role unless we know they have a big role in it. You know what I mean? So I kind of like that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I give the movie extra large popcorn, but I give the ending a small popcorn. So I guess it evens out to be a large popcorn. But nice talk.
Oh, sorry about that. Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I really enjoyed my time with you. Thank you for having me, but I have to run. I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you for having me on your show. I love you very much.
I love you too, Beth. Thank you for
Beth.
joining us.
Good night. Bye.
Bye. Okay, folks, that was my sister, Beth. So just to kind of wrap things up, I'll get this poster back up. Hold on. She wasn't even sure if she could join, so I'm really glad that worked out. We've been trying to do an episode together for a while. So that's my sister. She's also in the Screen 5 video. What?
Just sucks that she's got a busy day tomorrow.
Yeah, she has an early morning tomorrow and a 30 after midnight here in Niagara Falls. So, overall, this flick left me wishing for more, in a good way. I don't think this movie is overhyped. I don't think The Backrooms is overhyped either. Obsession is consistently engaging. It kept me on edge throughout the whole movie. I also appreciate how it's a twist on the monkey's paw idea, with Bear being the obsessive force and Nikki being the victim caught in the circumstances that she never chose. I like Megan Lawless as Sarah. We didn't really talk about her. She's the fourth friend in this group. She's the potential alternative love interest, and her presence heightens the tension and the jealousy between Nikki and Bear, especially through subtle efforts to highlight the toxicity of the relationship that Bear and Nikki have. And her ambition to go to college as this layer of tragedy that makes her empathetic, but in a nuanced way. And her performance really shows that versatility. Like, all these characters feel like real people, and that's really rare in horror movies. And then Andy Richter, he's pretty good as the father. He's funny stuff, but he could have had a bigger role. And fun fact, Curry Barker has a cameo in the movie. He's the customer service representative that Bear calls to fix the wish. But yeah, in my opinion, I think Bear is the obsessive one, and Nikki is the victim, caught in the circumstances because she didn't choose this. And he just allows the situation to spiral out of control. He sees things getting worse, but does he do anything? Nope. The tension is strong. It's supported by the effective use of lighting, camera work, and editing. Curry Barker also edited this movie too. He's a jack of all trades. But really, editing is what makes the movie. It sets the pacing and everything. Editing is something I didn't really think about in filmmaking until I started doing YouTube and editing my own videos. It's like it's what makes the movie, basically. And I like how the script deliberately leaves clues for the viewers to interpret things on their own. My sister kind of touched on that too. And I do agree, the ending is abrupt. I wasn't very satisfied with the ending of the movie. I could have used another like 20 minutes. But at its core, the film explores how love should be earned rather than forced, blending these intense psychological horror with almost the gore. But the gore isn't the focus of the movie. Oh, and side note, I gotta warn people, the movie predominantly features a dead cat. And it recurrently comes back in different ways. So, unfortunately, that's one bad side about this movie. So, if you don't like seeing dead animals in movies, you've been warned. And side note, filmmakers, stop putting dead animals in movies. Nobody likes it. It's very unsettling, too. That poor cat. Well, basically, at its core, oh, wait, I said that. Okay, it works as a critique of the quote-unquote nice guy mindset, possession, like possessive love, and it talks about consent, creating a tense viewing experience, which becomes a cautionary tale about possession versus obsession. It's all about the dangers of trying to bypass rejection and control somebody else's free will. The film never really fully explains how the One Wish Willow functions, or why they haven't become like this huge story on the news or anything like that. But if you think about it, realistically, something like that might attract some sort of public attention. So the movie could have included that. That being said, similar gaps exist in other horror movies. Like, for example, in the first Nightmare on Elm Street, it never really explains how Freddy gets into the kid's dreams. He just kind of does it, and you kind of go along with it. Same with how in the first Halloween, it never really fully explains how Michael Myers is supernatural. He got shot 6 times and then like vanishes inexplicably. So I can't be too harsh on the movie in that regard. A lot of the classics have done the same thing, and I was fine with it. The story still works because of the acting and the character writing. Keeping it simple helps these other aspects flourish. So, if I had to compare it to anything, I'd compare this to Misery, Drag Me to Hell, the 2020 version of The Invisible Man, Talk to Me, and Companion. I highly recommend this film, and as you heard from my sister, she recommends this too. Beth loved it. Both of us, we can't stop thinking about it. We've been talking about it off screen since we saw it together. It gets you fully invested mentally and emotionally. You might even say it gets you obsessed about this movie. So here am I. Here I am. Oh wait, no, I'm not. Wait a minute. Here I am. Ta-da. So, quick recap. We both gave the Backrooms an extra large popcorn. She gave Obsession extra large. I gave it a large. I think she preferred Obsession over Backrooms. Don't quote me on that. I'm not really sure. Oh, yeah, actually, if you look at the grades, she gave that one a higher grade. So
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, cool. Confirmed. So I think that's everything. I'm just checking my notes here. I don't want to miss anything. That's pretty much it. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Once again, I'm Mr. FLIXTER. My special guest tonight was my sister Beth. Have a good night. I'm just gonna set this up here. You might lose me for a second. I don't know how this is gonna work, but I lost the signal, so I have to re-put in my outro. I had it all set up, and then it got wrecked. So here we go. Okay, outro. Oh, let's try that again. Take two. Oh, wait. There we go. Take two.
So, until next time,
I'll see you at the movies.
have a great day. Did you know that I'm a film critic for HorrorBuzz.com? You can read my reviews on their website, so I'll leave links below for that too.
And remember, when it comes to obsession, this movie will leave you weeping, wishing for more. And as far as the Backrooms goes, when the Backrooms are no longer behind you, they come back as rooms. I'll show myself out. Good night.